uwager.lv, Sportsbook, and Casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web Live here on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, Amped Up Sports, and of course, Bucs Live. How do we start off this show as we always do here on a Monday and Wednesday night after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-0? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. And to get you guys ready for Bucs versus the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football, former Philadelphia Eagle quarterback, ESPN analyst, does one of the best, it used to do one of the best shows I watched all the time as a kid, NFL Matchup. Ron Jaworski, Jaws himself, will be on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And as always, we will take your questions. We will take your calls. We will take your text messages. How do you feel about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Are you starting to believe, Bucs fans, in this team right now? 2-0, beating the Chicago Bears 27-17. How do you like that, tribal troll?
Acknowledge me.
You gotta love it. So we're waiting for Leo to come on. We're gonna go ahead and introduce Jaws to the audience. Maybe we'll take some questions, but definitely want to focus on what he thinks about this matchup. A big-time matchup between 2-0 teams. The Eagles, to me, are the class of the NFC. So I'll tell you what. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and just go and get Mr. Ron Jaworski on here. We're going to wait for Leo. We'll go out to Leo when he comes in here. Ron, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. Big fan. You do great work. You used to do great work. I know you do great work now. You used to do great work with ESPN. Thanks a lot for joining me here on the Sports Web. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Peter, I am doing fantastic. Great to be with you. I'm very close to this Eagle football team. I do the pregame and postgame show, so I stay pretty close to the coaching staff, the players, and I'll give you some good insight.
I love it. And, you look at this team right now, I feel like the Eagles are the class of the NFC, maybe the National Football League, and it starts with the quarterback position. Give me your thoughts on Jalen Hurts and his development, his progression as a quarterback in this league.
Peter, he's a very special player, and the versatility is really the key with Jalen Hurts. But I just think back to the playoff game a couple of years ago. That was probably the last poor performance Jalen Hurts has had against Todd Bowles and that Tampa Bay defense, a game won by Tampa Bay in the playoffs. But he certainly has evolved to a threat as a runner and a threat as a passer. And if you look at his Eagle roster, it's probably the deepest roster in the National Football League. There really isn't a weakness, and there's depth throughout this roster. Howie Roseman, the general manager, has built a football team for the long haul. I think there's a window now for the Eagles, probably 3 to 5 years, where they'll be competitive as a playoff football team. There's no guarantees of Super Bowl visits and Super Bowl wins, but this team is poised right now to almost beat you any way they choose to. In fact, the Minnesota game was a good example of that. The Vikings defense last Thursday night came out, and they took away the passing game. They played nickel, they played dime. They played defense like Buddy Ryan would be proud of, blitzing schemes, coming after the quarterback, and it was effective. Well, lo and behold, the Eagles made an adjustment, and they just came out and pounded the football. The best offensive line in football may reside in Philadelphia. They ran the football for 250 yards, and DeAndre Swift goes for $175 himself. So they can be with the passing game with A.J. Brown. They can be with the running game with a plethora of running backs. And, of course, Jalen Hurts and, the things that he can do throwing the football as well as running it makes the Eagles a real threat to win it all.
I tell you right now, and you're exactly right. I mean, you have weapons everywhere. You use the word plethora, Leo word. The wide receivers there, Devontae Smith, of course, A.J. Brown. You make that trade. Do you think that is probably the biggest trade that really helped Jalen Hurts out in his development? In your opinion, it's kind of like, the Eagles making that trade for T.O. to help out Donovan McNabb. And also you look around the NFL, Josh Allen got a trade for Stephon Diggs. So that really helps a young quarterback out. Do you think that's the reason why Jalen Hurts has performed well last year and this year?
Well, Peter, it certainly helped. And there's been a relationship, with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. They've been friends for a long time. I'm still scratching my head when I think of why in the world the Tennessee Titans trade this guy. I mean, he's a beast of a wide receiver. He's fast, some quickness. Yeah, every combat catch he gets into, he wins it. Those 50-50 throws, he wins those throws. He's a special player. And you combine him with Devontae on the other side. Pick your poison. What do you want to do? Who are you going to cover? Who are you going to double? And then the tight end Dallas Goedert is also an exceptional, not only blocking tight end, but a receiving tight end. So there's a lot of weapons at the disposal that Jalen Hurts has. And they run those RPOs. I don't know if there's a quarterback in the league that runs them as well as he does. I hate him, by the way. I never like to see the quarterback running with the football because, when you get outside that line of scrimmage, no safety start bearing down there. They want to knock you out. And I don't like to see my quarterback put in harm's way, especially a quarterback that was, runner-up for the MVP last season. So you want to keep him healthy. But this Bucs defense, if you look over my shoulder, you'll see my screen there. I've been studying the Bucs this week. I get the coach's tape right in my house. How nice is that? And, I've been studying this Bucs defense. And Todd Bowles, creative as ever, just does a great job designing defense, take away what teams want to do. It'll be a tough matchup for the Eagles in this game. Todd Bowles has always kind of had that ability, that secret sauce to take away what you want to do. So the Eagles know when you play a Todd Bowles scheme defense, you better be ready for anything.
I tell you what, let's go ahead and get this man on right here. Here's the legend. He's Leo Haggerty. Here we go. Former coach, scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television. How you doing tonight? Talking to your good buddy here, Mr. Ron Jaworski, Jaws himself. I know you got a question, so go ahead, my friend.
Hey, Peter, can I interrupt you a second?
I got my
Leo has his own intro music now. What's going on?
Yeah, he gets his own. Listen, Ron, you come on here every week. I'll give you your own music. How about that?
Yeah,
anything you want.
Big time. He's got music.
Absolutely. Hey,
my own music next time.
All right. Well, what do you want? What do you want your walk-up music to be?
I got to give it some thought.
Okay.
My son-in-law is sitting next to me. He's in the music business. I'll turn it over to him to find some music for me.
All right.
Just can't have it copyrighted because YouTube will flag you on that. So we'll work on that. But Leo, go ahead.
I've been flagged before.
Hey, Ron. I'm looking at this as a high-scoring game. Two really good offenses. I think turnovers determine the outcome. What's your thoughts?
Well, if you look around the National Football League, Leo, you put that question on a tee for me, and I'll just knock you right down the middle. 76% of the time, if you are +1 or better in the turnover category, you win the game. It's that simple. You must take care of the football. The teams that are winning, take care of the football. Look at Dallas Cowboys. They're +7 in turnover ratio. In other words, they've had 7 more possessions taking the ball back from their opponents. There's a reason why they're blowing people out in their first 2 games. If you don't take care of the football in this league, you're going to lose because there's too many dynamic players on offense around this league. If you give them a couple more possessions, they're going to score on at least one of them.
And it's crazy you say that because it's the first time in Tampa Bay Buccaneer history that they don't have an interception. And that's a big time deal here because, of course, Baker Mayfield coming in as a quarterback. A lot of people, Ron, said, number 1 overall pick in 2018. Can he cut down on the decision making? He's done a good job with that. The Bucs have also emphasized the run game. I got to ask you, what do you see from Baker Mayfield? Are you a fan of him? Did he get a raw deal, in your opinion, with the Cleveland Browns?
I've always been a fan of Baker Mayfield. I'll go back to the Davey O'Brien dinner, but when he was in college and won the Player of the Year, the Davey O'Brien Award, I sat next to him at that dinner up on the dais, and we literally spent about an hour and a half to 2 hours talking ball. About an hour into it, we started bringing on napkins, and we're drawing plays and defense and how to attack. And he was a very cerebral quarterback. He understood schemes. He understood what the defense was doing. After studying tape on him, getting ready for that draft, I knew the kind of player he was. There's a reason he was a first-round draft choice. Now, what happened, I think, in Cleveland, which sometimes seems to be a mess of an organization, they never surrounded him with the right people. He played with that hurt shoulder, you may remember. He gutted it out to help his football team. Didn't play well, but he gutted it out, but really got no reward for that. He needed a change of scenery. Some guys need it. He got it. And the one thing I can say about this Buccaneer coaching staff, they have calmed him down. I always thought he played at a frenetic pace. His feet were moving too quickly. I always called that action figure. You set in a pocket, not ready to throw, but you set ready to move out the pocket. He is much more calm now. His feet tell me how calm he is. I mean, you opened this discussion with no turnovers. That's the key for a quarterback. Now, there was one early in the game that probably should have been picked off on targeting Mike Evans, but it wasn't. So there's still that big goose egg there as far as turnovers. But I think the offense is simplified for him. I don't see a lot of exotic formations, motions, things like that. They're playing good, solid football. The offensive line is much improved. And of course, when you got wide receivers, you get Godwin and Evans, you got guys that are outstanding receiving wide receivers. So, Baker's got some weapons around him. That always helps.
You know what, Ron? Let's stick with the offensive line. When healthy, is there a better offensive line than the Philadelphia Eagles?
No, there is no doubt. Now, people are going to say, hey, go to Dallas, go to Detroit, go to Cleveland. They've got really good offensive lines. But I just loved last week when the Eagles struggled early in the game. I thought they were calling too many pass plays. Minnesota was playing nickel and dime defense. They had a bunch of fast, quick guys out to defend the pass, and the Eagles couldn't move the football. I saw Lane Johnson on the sideline, the all-pro right tackle, was a first-ballot Hall of Famer. He's bitching at guys. I can see him. He's bitching at the coaches. Run the football. They got a light box. They got secondary players. Let's knock them off the ball. They came out and just started road grading people down the field, just knocking people off the ball. Jordan Mailata, the left tackle, had the highest grade in the history of Pro Football Focus grading. I mean, he was knocking people into people. You combine that road grader group up front, Dallas Goedert, an outstanding blocking tight end, they can run the football. I believe it is the best offensive line in football.
And we're on with former Philadelphia Eagle and, of course, ESPN analyst Mr. Ron Jaworski, who also does pre and post for the Philadelphia Eagles. And, of course, we got the legend of self, Leo Haggerty. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here on the Sports Web, getting you ready for 2-0 Bucs versus the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football, also 2-0. You talk about that offensive line and how good they are. Let's talk about the Bucs because, lots of question marks about them. Donovan Smith moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs. Tristan Wirfs making that transition over to left tackle. This offensive line has done a pretty good job. No sacks on Sunday, although a lot of that was Baker Mayfield making things happen. But what do you think about this offensive line, especially a Tristan Wirfs, who could be possibly, last year was one of the best right tackles in the game. Certainly seems like he could be one of the best left tackles in the game. What do you think, Jaws?
Absolutely correct. Look at the tape of Tristan Wirfs when he was at right tackle. He's one of the best in the business. Moving to the left side. It's not always seamless for a lot of these guys. There's a whole different way you play the game. It's a right-handed stance, a left-handed stance. However you line up, it's different. He has been dominant through 2 games. I see a little bit of a weakness in this offensive line for Tampa with the center position. So I think that's an area with, you got a Jalen Gardner, Jordan Davis in Philadelphia. These guys block the sun. They're so big, those big tackles from Georgia. So I think the area that the Eagles will try to attack will be inside in that Buccaneer offensive line. But they've held up very nicely. And I love the play calling. I so far through 2 games with the Buccaneers, I love the play calling. It's not a feast or famine style. It's a ball possession style. It's a power blocking scheme. It's not a trick of a scheme. So it tells me that the coaching staff understands this offensive line is best if they just come off and hit somebody. You don't need to trick people. Just come off and hit somebody and move them off the ball. This game will be determined by how well the Buccaneer offensive line plays. To me, that is flat out the difference in this game. The Buccaneer offensive line must be ready for that Eagle pass rush and their ability to stop the run inside. Remember, they had 70 sacks last year, which is one of the highest in NFL history. I think it's actually second a year ago. So they get after the quarterback. But you must stay out of those known situations. In other words, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. That's when the Eagles will shred you and gut you. They'll tear you apart. So you must stay out of those situations, and you must make it close all the way then. It's got to be a 1-score game, or this Eagle defense will be cut loose.
You know what, Ron? One of my female students in my coaching football class had a great question tonight. She said, how much different is it terminology from one offensive coordinator to the next? Now, both teams have new offensive coordinators. I told her it's like going from Greek to Chinese. Would that be correct?
You are 100% correct. Now, fortunately, in Philadelphia, Brian Johnson was the quarterback coach last year. He became the offensive coordinator, so terminology didn't change. A lot of coaches, I played for 4 different teams, and I can remember going from Philadelphia to Miami. This is in 1987. Mm-hmm. So I was calling plays for the Dolphins based on my repetition of plays in Philadelphia where I knew that situation. So I would call a play, and I'd immediately think, oh, that's the same play in Philadelphia, but we called it this. So it takes time to work through that. It's not seamless. It takes repetition. It takes study before it becomes just a rote memory calling play. So there is a little transition factor taking place with Baker.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, Baker performing well and also this running game. You talk about the wide receivers. I want to go back to the defensive line because that's the matchup I'm also looking at. You have Jalen Carter and you also have Jordan Davis, both of those Georgia hosses, as my uncle would say, because they're so big in that middle. And, with Carter, I feel like they've improved because, look, they let Hargrove go to the San Francisco 49ers. They get younger. And I always felt like Carter, besides the red flags off the field, on the field, he's dominant, much like Warren Sapp. Is that what you see with that kid Carter in the middle?
I mean, Jalen Carter is a fantastic football player. Now, they're still playing only about 18, 19 snaps a game, so they're still being indoctrinated into the system, but they're getting impactful snaps. And those two guys are both like 330 and with great athletic ability. And I don't want to sound like I'm getting carried away, but this will sound like I'm getting carried away. Sure. But I played with Reggie White. And I knew the kind of talent Reggie White had because he was my teammate. We'd stand on the sideline and watch Reggie. And he'd line up, the first series on the left guard. The next series, he'd line up on the right guard. The next series, he'd line up on the left tackle. The next series, he'd line up on the right tackle. And by the time you got into that second quarter, he would figure out who he wants to line up against and then destroy that guy. So I think you're going to start seeing that with these young men. They're going to move around. They're going to find matchups they like and then let them loose.
You know what, Ron? I know it's only week 3. But how important is this game to the two teams that have recently represented the NFC in the Super Bowl?
Leo, every game is the most important game in history. We know that. That's the way every city is. Every team is. And the league loves that. Every game is the biggest game of the year till next week. And that's just the way. And I think it's absolutely phenomenal. No one really expected this Buccaneer team to be 2-0. I think most people expected the Eagles to be 2-0. But their level of competition really hasn't been that great. Minnesota and New England they beat. Although the Bucs, had a Chicago team that, boy, how about that kid making these statements in Chicago today? Wow, we got a problem with coaching. He's not long for that organization right now. You start knocking your coaching staff. But anyway, I think it's a great matchup. It's a Monday Night Football matchup. You have great ratings. The Eagles, with this dynamic team they have, and Todd Bowles done a great job of resurrecting the Tampa Bay organization after kind of a lull last year, but it seems to be a team that's very well organized, playing with incredible energy and emotion. And they're going to be at home. It's going to be a crazy crowd. The Buccaneers have amazing fans. So I'm looking forward to a great game.
I'm looking forward to a great game, too, on Monday Night Football. We got Jaws on, Mr. Ron Jaworski here, former ESPN analyst, former Philadelphia quarterback here, also does the Philadelphia Eagles pre- and post games. And
hey, let's be honest. This is Mr. Philadelphia. Let's be honest.
Listen, I love this guy because, the NFL matchup wasn't always on the earliest, okay? It was on, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning or 6 in the morning. You had to get it.
And you had to get up because Ron would break it down. He would break down the tape there. Him, Merrill Hodge. You would have, I believe, also Sal Antonio. Yeah. I mean, that was must-see TV for me, and I don't know how you ever cancel that show or get rid of that show. You got to bring that show back, Ron. With that being said, you talked about that defense of Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Seth Joyner. Is that one of the most underrated defenses of all time because they won no championships? I mean, how can you stack them up with the 1985 Chicago Bears? Can you stack them up with the Baltimore Ravens? You played for them. What do you say?
I don't. That 85 Bears team was just relentless. It was. I can still have nightmares about playing against that defense. Buddy Ryan had schemed just an incredible defense, and from an offensive perspective, he tried to wrench space in my mind, our pass protections line, because he gave you so much creativity. And it made it, and you had great creativity and tremendous talent. That's an unbelievable combination. It's hard to beat that combination. I would say, that 90 Eagles team was very good, but that defense was not comparable to the 85 Bears. It was that defense was the best I've ever seen. The Ravens team a few years later was a good one, but nothing like that 85 Bears team.
What about the Bucs?
I still have bad memories of the fridge laying me out and giving me a concussion.
There you go. What about the Bucs in 2002? Because I would say, they went on a run there for so many years. They were one of the greatest defenses of all time. What do you say?
Sure. That John Lynch and Warren Sapp and look at the Hall of Fame type players in that team. Yeah, I shouldn't forget that group. They're amazing. Monty Kiffin did a hell of a job of scheming as well.
Yeah. And
you know what, Ron? When I know Jalen Hurts is a big part of this running game, he's got to learn how to slide. He can't be taking all these unnecessary hits. What do you think?
Absolutely right. I hate it. And, he's a dynamic player. He runs. He does make big plays, with his legs. And, I do not only the pregame show and postgame show, but I cringe every time he starts running around and sliding. In fact, the Eagles crowd the other night against Minnesota, I think the third time he ran the football, they ran one of those RPOs, zone reads. There's a whole combination, these new plays they run with running quarterbacks. And he ran for about a yard and slid. The fans booed. There's an intelligent group of fans here. Number one, they don't want to see their quarterback in harm's way. Number two, if he's going to slide, don't run the damn play. Run DeAndre Swift or any of the other plethora of running backs Eagles have on this roster. But don't put your quarterbacks in harm's way, and don't call the play if he's not going to try to run somebody. He's 240 pounds. He bench presses, leg presses 660 pounds. He's strong as an ox. But you know what? It's going to be one of those fluky things where he's going to get hurt. And then what do you do? Now you're back to your backup quarterback, your third string quarterback, and you don't want to find yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I got to ask you, you played quarterback in the league in, the 70s and the 80s. Do you feel like you could play in this league? What's the difference between back then and now, Ron?
Well, now the quarterback doesn't get hit. I mean, the target on the quarterback is right here. That's it. Or you hit him anywhere else, it's a 15-yard penalty. You're put in jail, if you hit the quarterback now. I had a streak that lasted about 15 years. I played 122 consecutive games at quarterback in the league. And Brett Favre, about 20 years later, broke that record. Now, everybody goes by their record. I mean, again, I don't want to talk about maybe my toughness or something like that, but I just felt it was my responsibility to my team to line up and play. A lot of bumps and bruises, a lot of different injuries, but you get out there and play. But at that time, I can still remember guys in the defensive linemen wrapping the tape around their hands, around their forearms, and creating like these clubs. So when they got to the quarterback, they could club you upside the head. And by the way, it was legal.
Yes, exactly. I remember Reggie White having the club and taking that to the offensive line.
Move. Come on.
Yes, that was a weapon. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah. You know what, Ron? I got a couple more questions, but I got to ask you this one, and I want you to take a deep breath before you answer it.
I can't take a deep breath, Leo.
The holding penalty in the Super Bowl. I've told people that happens every play in the NFL. I thought that was the worst call I've ever seen. What's your thought?
Well, Bradbury said he grabbed him, so it's hard to say it was the worst call in history. It's the timing of when the call came, and for the most part, I 2 days later I went and watched the tape, and the officials were letting them play. There was a lot of the field was god dang awful. The guys were slipping and sliding all over the place. There was clutching and grabbing the entire game, particularly in the secondary. And it was the timing of the play. I'm not going to cry over it. It was called. They had other opportunities to win the game. They didn't get it done. But, I'm not going to say he didn't hold him because Bradbury himself said, I grabbed him. And you can see the NFL Films had some great footage of his arm wrapping around, grabbing the jersey. The side judge who made the call, but the judge in the middle of the field, he was letting everybody play. So maybe if it would have happened a little further in the hash area, where the center field judge would have picked it up, may not have been called. But I'm not going to argue over that.
Is that the biggest weakness on Monday night for this team going forward? That's secondary because they had so many injuries there. In your opinion, for the Bucs, that matchup to win?
Yeah, if I look at maybe the holes in the Eagle defense, they lost both linebackers in the offseason. They've had both starting linebackers now get hurt, so they're basically signing guys off the street or guys that were cut in training camp, and they played well last week. Cunningham and Morrow came in and had good, solid games, but the Vikings have abandoned the run. You got to make those linebackers play the run. Then you look inside, they got two new safeties. Then now you lose Avonte Maddox, who's going to be out for the rest of the year now with a pectoral surgery that he's going to have. So I think in the middle of the field is where, if I was designing the game plan for the Buccaneers, I'd say we've got to attack the middle of the field. That brings your tight end into play and try to work the interior area where there's inexperience and backup, and maybe even guys that were cut off this team have to make plays and become a starter. So I would say that's the area of the field I would attack. And you look at the outside, it's good corners, good rock solid corners. So I think your opportunity to make plays will be on the inside, the hash area.
You know what, Ron? This is my last question of the night, and we really appreciate.
That's all. No more. Come on, Leo.
Oh, okay. We'll keep going then.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah,
no problem. Hey, give me your one or two best memories as a player, and your one or two best memories as being Mr. Philadelphia Eagle.
As a player, as time goes on, there were big plays, there were big wins. They were beating Dallas in the NFC Championship game. There was a 99-yard, 2 feet 11-inch touchdown pass to Mike Quick in overtime to beat the Falcons. That's it. Those are great individual plays that I made or Mike Quick made. But I think the thing that stands out most, and as you get older and you start hanging around the older players, you talk about the camaraderie of a team, the friendships you have that last forever. And football is the consummate team game. So as much as I love what I did as a player, I love my teammates even more now because you realize what you put on the field every single week to be successful. The camaraderie, the respect, the love, the admiration you have to have for each other to be successful. So that's what I miss the most now. The guys busting stones in the locker room and having fun after games and busting on other guys. I do kind of miss that the most.
You know what, Ron? I'm going to jump in with one more. Is Nick Foles ever have to pay for a meal in Philadelphia ever again?
Hell no. He got a statue outside the stadium.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I got to ask you, how much did Dick Vermeil mean to you as a coach, and not only as a coach but as a person to your career?
Well, to this day, the coach and I talk every week. To this day, he last coached me in 1982, so you can understand the relationship that we built. He started out in 1973 as a running backs coach with the Rams before he went to UCLA. And I was a backup quarterback of the Rams in 1973. So to this day, we still maintain a great relationship. But I am not the only one. He maintains a great relationship with all his players. He got back from, he was out in the Napa Valley. They had a reunion of his Rose Bowl team with UCLA. I guess that was 1975 or 75 or 75. So he still maintains a relationship with those players that he coached at UCLA. He was a tough guy to play for, but he got the very, very best out of you. You'd bitch, you'd moan, you'd complain, and then you get those wins on Monday night or Sunday night and made that beer taste a lot better. But he made you work for everything you got. I have ultimate respect for Coach Dick Vermeil.
Love it. And I got to ask you about the 79 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kind of a surprise. Of course, they defeat you in that divisional playoff game.
Well, I didn't hear that.
How good? Yes.
I remember that game very well. Can I tell a story? I don't want to take Leo's next question on it. We're going down there to play Tampa, and we come out, and we're in Philadelphia. It's probably late December, maybe early January in the playoff game. And in Philly, it was like about 20 degrees. Right? So we fly down to Tampa on Saturday. We had our practice in Philly, get to the hotel. We're staying out by the airport. And we get to the stadium on Sunday, and it's like 85 degrees. Oh, man, everyone's all excited. We go out for pregame warm-up. We've gone from 20 degrees in Philly all week to go now in Tampa. We came after pregame warm-up. We came in the locker room, right? And I'm looking at the guys, and they're coming in, grabbing towels, wet towels, and they're like this. Oh, my God, we're gassed. The Bucs got the opening drive. I think they went 16 plays, touchdown, and took 8 minutes off the clock. So that's what I remember. And all those damn orange people, everyone dressed in orange out there, and they kicked their butt in that playoff game.
You know what, Ron? One of our guys, Ray Kennedy, wanted me to ask this question. What was it like watching Tony Franklin kick barefoot?
Well, I held for two barefoot kickers. I had Tony Franklin and Paul McFadden. So I had two barefoot kickers, and they were both very, very good kickers. But I'll tell you, I don't know how they did it. I just don't know how they did it. But they did, and they were both very good.
Talk about Harold Carmichael and what he meant to that offense and your offense overall during that time.
Well, Harold's obviously a Hall of Famer. He's a very special player, and we maintain a great relationship. I probably see him once or twice every couple of weeks. He's always around. He's another ambassador for the Eagles. He's a great ambassador for professional football. He'll be a Hall of Famer. And not a better finder person than Harold Carmichael. But when you got a 6'7" wide receiver and you get inside the 5-yard line, and some sorry ass DB at 5'8" wants to line up and press Harold at the line of scrimmage, we just had a little signal. I look out there no matter what the play was. You get to press Harold inside that 5-yard line. I kind of grab my face mask, give it a little flinch, and that means I'm taking one step back and throwing a little. We call it meet me at the corner. I'm throwing it to that corner in the pylon. The ball and Harold will meet right at that pylon. It was very effective. But Harold was also not only big and strong, he was fast. You got to remember how big he was. Corners would turn and they'd be even with Harold. He would take 2 strides and have a 1-yard cushion.
You know what, Ron? I can remember coming up for the Eagles-Bucs game, and I went to the Bergie breakfast, which was great. Missed that tremendously, but I told everybody.
Can I pick up your tab, Rio?
Yeah, yep. I told everybody then that this is not your grandfather's Buccaneers. This is a whole different animal. And I can remember you coming into the breakfast saying, I just got done with some of these guys. This is a different team. That I know Rondé Barber, the interception in that, but the fact that the Buccaneers went up there and won that football game, that had to be just a crushing defeat for the Eagles.
Oh, it crushed the Eagles. It crushed the city. It was the last home game played at Veterans Stadium. It was a big game, and the Eagles jumped out, early lead, and I can remember I was down at the far end zone. I was covering the game for ESPN, so I had to grab the winning coach at the end of the game, and I'm down under the goalpost as Eagles are marching down the field. Donovan McNabb's bringing them down the field. I said, okay, if he gets a touchdown here, I go that way, the Eagles sideline. If he doesn't get a touchdown, I go that way to the Buccaneers sideline. So I'm kind of like right in the middle. What's going to happen? And Rondé read the route, quick hitch route that Donovan was throwing, and I could see as he's running down the field, all the fans. He wasn't even in the end zone yet. I could see the fans walking out of Veterans Stadium, and that was it. That was kind of the last memory I have of Veterans Stadium, that Buccaneer play. And John Gruden would always tell the story. Ronnie J built Veterans Stadium, but I knocked it down.
Good stuff, Jaws. I got one last question, and we'll get you out of here for the night. And like I said, if you want to come on here, anytime you want to come on here, we'll get you a walk-up music. We got walk-up music for you anytime.
I want music. Eric, will you get the music ready for me? That's my son-in-law, Eric.
Tell your son to email me. We'll get the music. Mike Evans, a lot of fans up in arms right now. They want to see the Bucs re-sign him. First question is, do you feel like Evans is a Hall of Famer, 9 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons to start his career? Of course, he would have to eclipse Jerry Rice. He had 11. And then do you think this is a mistake by the Bucs, or where they get this situation taken care of? Because the reports are Evans wants Cooper Kupp money. Is this a mistake by the Bucs because he's Mr. Consistent? Do you think they will get this done eventually, Jaws?
I would hope they would. I think, historically the Buccaneers have tried to get things done. They have a reputation for that. Mike Evans is a phenomenal football player. There is absolutely no question of that. I'd say he's on track to become a Hall of Famer as a wide receiver in Canton. I think he's that kind of player. I watch him on tape. As I said, there's my screen right behind me. Eric and I were just watching the tape. The guy can still run routes as quick as anybody. He's not the speed guy, but he's like Harold Carmichael I just talked about, big, long strider, but he can also come out of his break and create separation. Those 50-50 balls, those combat catches, he makes a high percentage of those. You can see him blocking. You can see him running routes crisply. And everyone knows he's a team player. The fact that he's there now helping his team win is a testament to his commitment to the team. So I would hope it would get settled because he deserves a contract. I think he's a better I like Cooper Kupp, and I think he's a better player than Cooper Kupp. So probably deserves that kind of money.
You know what, Ron? I'm going to get one last one as I go.
This is the 4th last question, Leo.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
I miss you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. I got to get even with you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm coming up next weekend. Maybe we can do lunch one of these days when I'm up there.
I'll be around.
All
Peter,
right.
we used to come up. He'd hang with Greg Cosell and I and sit there at NFL Films, our clickers, and bore people to death and watching football for 8 hours.
I'll tell you what.
It's not boring to me. 8 hours
I'd love to hear that.
Football film.
Yeah.
I need to do that in my life. I would rather do that than my sales job, which I do during the day. And then, of course, I'm a producer and co-host of another show called The J.P. Peterson Show 5 days a week.
Tell him I said hello.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. I mean, you're more than welcome to come on that show sometime too, if you like. I do that too, but I would
You know
rather
what,
watch
Peter?
football 8 hours instead of
Oh,
yeah.
I can remember when Roxanne Wilder and I came up, and we got in there at 8 in the morning, and all of a sudden I turned around, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
There you go.
And what better thing to do than sit there and watch NFL football? And I can remember because the first time I came in, a lot of guys were wondering, okay, who's this guy? What does he know? And I, you asked me, what's Pittman's problem? And I said he runs with his feet too close together. And all of a sudden, Greg Cosell kicks up, pushes the button, up comes this picture, and there's Pittman running, and his feet are too close together, and he gets knocked down. And you turn around and goes, this guy does know what he's talking about. And I'll tell you what, I think every pro sport team, every pro sports organization would want NFL films. My God, everything is there. And I got to thank Ira Kaufman for getting both of those guys into the Hall of Fame. And right before they passed, that was just a labor of love by Ira Kaufman.
Yeah, Ira does a fantastic job of getting. There are so many quality people that are eligible for the Hall of Fame, and I wouldn't want that job. And for Harold Carmichael and Dick Vermeil, I lobbied Ira. I said, these guys, they were not only my friends, they were my teammates, they were my coach. I knew the quality and character of the person they were. I knew all the obstacles they overcome to get where they at. So I kind of lobbied Ira. And you have to get something because the voters don't know the guys that played with them and spent 10 years with people. And I just felt not as an obligation, but I wanted to do what I could to help my teammates, my coach get in the Hall of Fame. And there are thousands of deserving players and coaches that deserve to get in the Hall of Fame, but not many do. So I feel it was incumbent upon me to deal with Ira and a number of the other voters, say, here's at least how I felt. They may have discounted what I said, but at least I felt I made my voice heard.
Good stuff, my friend. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Go ahead and promote yourself once again, Ron Jaworski.
I'm always Brody. In fact, I do a little show myself, kind of Merrill and I do this, we call it the green room. And Merrill and I just talk ball. It's on the stunt. So I'm always talking football.
Love it. Good stuff there, Jaws. Thanks a lot.
I'll be back. All right.
All right.
Oh,
sounds
absolutely.
good. I like it. There you go, Mr. Ron Jaworski.
Thanks, Ron.
Former Philadelphia Eagle quarterback, former ESPN, still doing pre and post for the Philadelphia Eagles there. Great stuff.
Hey, Peter.
Yes.
Hey, Peter.
Yes.
Name me any radio show that gets Ron Jaworski for 40 minutes.
I don't know. There's not many of those, so I'm definitely blessed to have him on. That was freaking great. We could have gone an hour for that, and he said
He probably would have went an hour, but I don't want to push it the first time. But
yeah,
hey,
I'm telling you.
I'll bet he shows up with music next time.
I bet he does show up with music, and I bet we'll have it on here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, the sports web. So how do you see this Justin Fields situation? Because he was talking about that. You see him calling out coaching. We saw it on Sunday from the press box. Yours truly along with JP. Wide open receivers, and he's not hitting him. He's not trusting his eyes. It's either he doesn't trust his offensive line, he doesn't trust his wide receivers, or doesn't trust himself. How do you see this Fields situation working out? Because now he's basically saying, I'm going to play like myself. Well, how have you been playing? Why haven't you been playing like yourself?
You know what, Peter? You and I talked about this after the game. The first series that the Bears had the football, the Bucs blitzed, and more blitzed. Then on the second series, they figured out, you know what? Maybe we want to do a little coverage. And all of a sudden, here, Justin Fields, who was looking for the blitz, came back, and it wasn't there. And it forced him to hold the ball. And that's the worst thing a quarterback can do is hold the football. And I'll tell you what, Peter, while we're on that subject, there is definitely a God for Shaq Barrett getting that interception and a touchdown.
Oh, man.
I mean, what that guy has been through, and you could just see the love on the sideline for that happening. And what a great athletic play to do it. And,
Absolutely.
And it was a 3-point game, so it was huge.
Yeah, it was definitely huge. And I tell you right now, if you can stay on for a little bit, we can go out to that Shaq
Thank you.
Barrett press
Make a
conference.
play like you did at the end of
Stand
that
by.
game. Does time speed up or slow down for you in that?
It slowed down for sure. It felt like that play took about 5-7 seconds just from me catching the ball, running 2 yards, and then being pushed into the end zone. It felt like I was like in that play. It was slow motion. I was standing up there being pushed for 5 seconds when it was hindsight probably like 2-3 seconds. I don't even know if it was that long. But yeah, that was the most tiring play of the game for me.
Shaq, when you made that interception, you came inside on a rush and then really were almost spying and seeing what Justin Fields was going to do. Can you just talk about your reaction to that and catching that one-handed pass?
Well, I appreciate what you said because your memory was better than my memory right now. I just remember going inside a little bit, seeing the ball come, but yeah, I guess I was rushing inside like you said, and then and then I felt the flow of the offense go to the left a little bit, so I slid a couple steps to the left and I saw the ball coming, and I just put my hand up, made the catch. So 58 right in front of me, so I figured I got to go inside or outside of him to get in the end zone. I couldn't be denied, though. It was 3 yards. I got to find a way to get in there. And my teammates came to rally behind me, help me get in the end zone. But it was just a great way to end the game. Offense did it for us last week, and it's our time to return the favor.
Back for you, a pick six, another sack, 12 and Achilles. Just what does that do, for you to say, okay, I'm still back. I'm making these plays again.
It felt good to just be back on the playmaking side of things. I know even if I wasn't making plays, just like all the work I put in the offseason, doing rehab and all that, felt good, and I knew I was back, even though if the plays like last week didn't like exactly say that I'm back, but I felt that I was back for a while now. And it's just good to get them plays, them game-changing plays like I'm accustomed to affirm that. So it just thank my coaches for putting me in the right position, my teammates for being there for me, and it just feel good.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention, you've dedicated the season obviously to your daughter and all that. There's an emotional moment, you and Jason, maybe more so for Jason than you. You retired, but like when you have games like this, I mean, I know your whole life was turned upside down and it still is, but what does it mean to be able to put that, for your family, for yourself, and all that you've been through?
No, it most definitely feels good. I always play for my family already, but then having like that extra incentive and making me want to go a little harder for it never stops sucking. It's always going to suck, but like at least I'm able to be able to shine some spotlight on her a little bit. Camera was on me after I made the play. I told her love you, miss you, wish she was here. And so I'm glad I'm able to still get some spotlight for her and to the Lord above, because he's the reason why we're here right now, and then just trusting his plan, and no matter what it is, it just works for good. So I'm just trusting that, and I'm just going through every day, trusting that, and believing that.
I mean, like, just considering everything you've been through, physically and then emotionally, like, I mean, when you have those kinds of moments like that, I mean, do you almost feel like it is like a little bit of your mind intervention? You go out there and you get to play such a big role in a game that has taken on maybe even more meaning for you this year because of what you've been dealing with.
Oh yeah, I believe so for sure. And then just talking to God all the time. I just know He don't give us nothing more than we can handle, even though it felt like He did for sure. But He said He just setting us up for something. Can't say better because I don't know what can be better than having my baby girl here. But He's setting us up for something that's that we need, and I'm just ready for it, and I'm waiting for it, and I'm gonna believe in Him and believe in His plan for sure. And I do feel like it was divine intervention to be able to just get that spotlight for my baby girl.
Is your family here today, and how are they doing?
Yeah, they were here. They're gone now. They was gonna wait after the game, but I told them it might be a little while, and it's kind of hot out there. But they doing good. My son had not his first football game, but his third football game yesterday. They won. I helped coach it. Feel good to coach the youth and give back, man. I learned from Foot over there coaching the youth like he coached us. It'd be funny saying Foot out there coaching, but yeah, my kids and family doing good.
Hey, Shaq, can you talk about your teammates, Joe Trine showing you with a pair of sacks today, Vita coming in, Cam Gill, it just seemed like whoever was out there was getting to Justin Fields today.
Yeah, I think a lot of that goes to the work we've been doing, and a lot of that, like, as a front, and a lot of it goes to the back end. Them boys was locking up back there. Like, it couldn't have been nobody to throw the ball to because he was holding it for so long, giving us a chance to get there. So the rush and the coverage was working together right there. And I'm just glad to see everybody being able to eat because we got a lot of great guys on this team, a lot of good pass rushers, and be able to rotate like that, stay fresh. Cam get in, Joe get in. Well, Cam get a sack, Joe get a sack, Vita get a sack, I get a sack. Like, oh, I'm missing. That's everybody, right? Yeah. Yaya got there? Yeah. Half sack, yeah, Yaya too. So it's just, yeah, it feels good to see everybody being able to get some recognition for all the work that we've been putting in so far.
Shaq, can you speak on your faith and how it's really helped you kind of deal with this process and give them some encouraging words to others who might be seeking some faith as well?
Yes. So my faith never really wavered going through the situation. I know sometimes people in tough situations that faith waver, but I needed them more now or then or still now than I needed them ever. And that was the only way that me and my family was going to be able to make it through, by leaning on each other and trusting in the Lord. So just talking to each other, worship music, church, prayer, all the prayers from everybody that's been praying for us. Like, we was actually able to feel like the power of prayer for sure, able to just help get some of the little cloudy, rainy days off us. And like, literally last week before the game I was struggling last week. And then, like, I struggling real bad. Like, I couldn't stop crying, calling my wife, calling my coaches, checked in on me. But like, then out of the blue, like, everything just went away and I was able to focus on the game. And everybody was like, my wife was asking people to pray for me, they prayed for me. So I actually felt like the wave of emotions just slide like to the side, and I was able to actually focus. So like, I was able to feel the power of prayer. I'm catching a cramp a little bit.
All right, so there you go. That was Shaq Barrett right there. Some good stuff from Shaq, and honestly, I think, Leo, everybody is rooting for this man. What he's been through, not only the injury situation, the personal situation, losing his little daughter, dedicating that touchdown to his daughter. I mean, it's such a great story, and this team, to me, and I know it's early. I get it. I understand. It's 2-0. It's a long season. By the way, 61% of the time, if you're 2-0, you do make the playoffs. Just saying. But the way this team is coming together with all their personalities, with chips on their shoulder, with things that they're fighting for, to me, it's just an unbelievable thing.
Yeah, and you know what, Peter? We sat down at the beginning of this season when Baker Mayfield got signed.
Yeah.
And I said, if the Baker Mayfield that went to Cleveland and took Cleveland to the playoffs, which is almost like an oxymoron,
yeah,
beat Pittsburgh to death at Pittsburgh and came within one play of beating Kansas City. If that Baker Mayfield shows up, that's the guy you want under center. And you know what, Peter? We said this, both of us. He endeared himself to his teammates playing hurt. Now, he didn't do anything for his contract.
Yeah.
But he went out there. He was a warrior, and that's what teammates want to see. Guys go out there. And like Ron said, 122 straight games. And that's back when they could hit you with anything under the sun as a quarterback. I can remember the hit that Lawrence Taylor put on him and put that helmet right on the number 7 jersey in his back. And I thought, my God, they split him like a chicken. It was crazy. But, that's this is going to be an interesting game Monday night for sure.
It definitely is going to be an interesting game. I know you're on a pitch count here. Give me some final thoughts here. By the way, Harry was also saying Baker Mayfield, this team could have an opportunity to have 10 to 13 wins. And you know what? Their defense, the running game, especially their defense, 6 sacks, 2 turnovers, really harassed Justin Fields all day long. Give me some final thoughts here on the evolution of sports talk television.
Well, Peter, we sat there and we looked at Sports Illustrated, and they picked the Bucs 2-15 or 4-13. And we both said, no, that's not going to happen. I like what they're doing in terms of they're not turning football over. Yeah. That's huge. Now, that's not going to continue. That's going to happen it's as Earth, Wind, and Fire says, it's the way of the world. It's the way of the NFL. You're going to have turnovers. They just can't be at the wrong time. You talk about turnovers at the wrong time. Look at the Vikings. The guy fumbles the ball on the 1 yard line going in. And I think the Eagles got a real break on that one because I don't think there was indisputable evidence that the ball went over the pylon. And again, I make no bones about it. You cut me, I bleed cheesesteak. I've been an Eagles fan all my life. But they got a couple really, in the first 2 games, they got that call up in New England of the guy having, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But when you look at what the Buccaneers are doing, they're not making mistakes. That's the key. Don't make mistakes. Stay in the game and play to your strength. And right now, that strength is run the football because it takes time off the clock.
Absolutely. It takes time off the clock. It also keeps your defense fresh, which we were out there this weekend, how hot it was. I tell you right now, I can't imagine playing in that mess. Leo Haggerty, the legend, thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. All right?
Absolutely. Hey, make sure you contact, have JP talk to Ron. Maybe you can get him on the show tomorrow or Friday.
Sounds good. Will do, my friend. Thanks a lot once again to Leo Haggerty right there. Good stuff. I tell you what, let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll hear from you guys. You Bucs fans, I've been neglecting you, but lots of great content tonight with Ron Jaworski. I mean, come on. Come on, man. You got to have him on there. You got to ask him questions. 40 minutes of that. We'll take your phone calls. We'll read your comments here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Keep it locked. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Bumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. All right, open phone line, 727-255-0391. That's the other number we have now, 727-255-0391. No confusion, open phone lines. Let's read the comments first. There you go, Roger.
Acknowledge me.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Peter, it's James.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
After that last game.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Not so much confidence, huh? And I'm sorry. I love the defense there with the New York Jets, but you're only going to go as far as Zach Wilson is going to take you, or that running game. You're going to have to depend heavily on that run game in order to take you anywhere, because Zach Wilson's not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it.
You know, I tell you what, I'm going to disagree with you in the fact that Zach Wilson, actually, I know he threw 3 picks. Mm-hmm. He actually was not terrible. The defense let us down. The defense just couldn't stop them. I mean, they threw all over us. They ran all over us. I mean, Dak Prescott, they made him look like John Elway. I mean, the defense was not good. I mean, I just sat there. I'm like, what the hell is this right now? And it put Zach Wilson in a position where, okay, I feel like I need to do all this on my shoulders and whatnot. And they had to start throwing the ball over the place, and they can't do that. Like you said already, they got the running game. Oh, I tell you what, though, Dalvin Cook, man, he's got to get it together. I mean, him fumbling that ball, I mean, that killed us.
Yeah, not good. Definitely not good. I mean, yeah, if you're going to be a running back in this league, I don't care how good you are, if you fumble the ball, more than likely, and you already have Breece Hall there, so if he continues to fumble the ball, then you go to him. But yeah, that's definitely disappointing at the end of it. It is disappointing for Cook to have that turnover, but you're going to have to depend on him. You're going to have to depend on Hall. I'm sorry. I know you got the weapon. I don't have any belief in Zach Wilson. He's shown me nothing. He is what he is. To me, he's on his way to being a quarterback bust. I hate to say that for you because I know you're a big-time Jets fans, and I know there's Jets fans out there hoping that he can, turn the corner. I just don't see it. I don't.
Well, I tell you what, the offensive line needs to get their head out of their ass first.
Well, their offensive line is not good at all. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, Micah Parsons looked like Reggie White yesterday. I mean,
he's pretty good. He's a pretty good player, my friend. I mean, you want to make a comparison to Reggie White. He's pretty good. I'm not saying he's Reggie White, but we've seen that before. Seen that down here in Tampa when he came down here in Tampa and wrecked a game. So. That's the normal. That's the normalcy for Mr. Parsons.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying he's not great or anything. But,
right.
I mean, the way he just destroyed our offensive line, it was like, what the? And I hate to say this. Oh man, this sucks. But I'm starting to wonder if Robert Saleh is the man for the job because I tell you what, schematically, Mike McCarthy really did a number on us.
Yeah, he did. He did. And I'll tell you right now, Saleh being a defensive guy, and there's not a lot of defensive coaches that are having success. It's usually offensive coaches, although Todd Bowles is maybe the exception. Maybe Saleh's the exception at this point. We'll see. But you're exactly right. He may not be. And look, at the end of the day, they put all their eggs in that basket for Aaron Rodgers. They had no idea that Rodgers was going to go down the fourth play of the year. So it's disappointing to say the least with all the expectations, but now you got to turn the page. You got to figure this out. You got to come together. And were you surprised? I got to ask you this. Were you surprised that Rodgers is actually going to possibly come back next year?
No.
Okay.
I think he's too prideful, to be honest with you. He came to New York and the thing was, I don't know if you watch Hard Knocks or not. I'm sure you do.
Of course I do. Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed like he was determined to, hey, I'm going to show you I can win in New York,
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, he went down the way he did, which I tell you what it reminds me of, I don't know if you remember this or not. You remember 1999 when Vinny went down?
Yes.
Okay, he second quarter, tearing his Achilles, and he didn't even get hit. And I'm just I'm going, what the hell is wrong with this franchise? Like something's going on here.
Agree.
It's really, we're snake bitten. We really are.
Yeah, I feel bad for you Jets fans. We'll see how they can work it out. James, anything else here on the evolution of sports talk television, my friend?
Yeah, I was just gonna say to you. So we don't have to talk about the Jets. I was gonna say
the Bucs,
man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty good, right? 6 sacks, 2 turnovers against Justin Fields. Baker Mayfield playing out of his mind. Hasn't thrown an interception yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't. But they're winning the turnover battle. They're winning on defense. They're not necessarily winning pretty games, but they're winning games. That's what it comes down to. What do you say?
I tell you what, I got to give what the hell is the GM Jason Licht credit, man.
Jason Licht.
Not
Jason Licht. Jason Licht. Yeah.
And he made the right call with as far as Baker goes. Because you guys were buried. You guys didn't have anything after Brady left.
And see, to me, that is the whole misconception of the Bucs in 2023 that the national media has been trying to throw out there. It's ridiculous. You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin, you have Kate Otten, you have Rashard White, you have Carlton Davis, you have Jamel Dean, you have Devin White, you have Vita Vea, you have Shaq Barrett, you have all these players from that Super Bowl year. Maybe Kate Otten and Rashard White are not those guys. They're upgrades. Mm-hmm. But you still have talent from that Super Bowl just a couple years ago. So everybody's saying, well, Brady left, so that's it for the Bucs. They're over with. News at 10. They're going to be a 2-win team, like Peter King has said. Yeah, Peter King's right. They're 2 wins right now, 2-0. Baker Mayfield looks like the turnaround player of the year, which, by the way, if you listened to this show, you would have known that that's what I was saying in the first place because of Dave Canales. But it's neither here nor there. That whole narrative of this team doesn't have talent is complete and total There you go.
Yeah, no. I agree with you, man. I mean, well, I got to tell you, I'm stunned. I didn't, I really thought they were. I was one of those people who thought they were going to be, a 4 or 5 win team. And they're already halfway there.
That's right.
And yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And I got to tell you too. I never thought Todd Bowles would actually, be a good head coach. I mean, I did.
What? Did you just say Todd Bowles?
Yeah.
Did you just say Todd is a good coach? You're exactly right, because he's been given his own offensive coordinator. He doesn't have to look over his shoulder for BA. He's performing well right now. He definitely is making some great coaching decisions, some great coaching adjustments, and that's the key right now to their success. James, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. Use that second call if you want to, my friend. All right?
You got it, buddy.
All right, good stuff there. James Mulvaney right there, all the way from Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Big-time Jets fan. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go back out to the comments. Roger Shue says, Grand Slam is on. It's been awesome. That's AEW. We will be talking about Turnbuckle Talk with WWE AEW action with the bodyguard of the Berg, Pittsburgh's newest radio personality, Ralph Williams, coming up here in just a little bit. Roger Shue, remember, you call me insane for saying that your Bears are going to finish last in the division. Roger, how about it?
Oh, yeah.
Good question. Good comment. Yes, you are still here. Let's go back out to the phone lines. Welcome back to the Sports Web. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's James again, bud.
All right, go ahead. Use your second call. What's on your mind?
So I was just curious what you think of the Broncos, because I tell you what, I'm stunned right now. But
I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I've seen some games here. You look at the last game against Commanders, which, by the way, they're a surprise. I mean, 2-0. Who thought the Washington Commandos, whatever they're calling themselves at this point, they're 2-0.
Yeah.
I feel like the defensive player got away with an interference call there on the 2-point conversion, but I'm just not sure if Russ is Russ. Right? And it may take a while. And that's why I say what Brady did with the Bucs with the new offense is amazing. What Stafford did with the Rams with the new offense is amazing. That always, it doesn't always transition. It doesn't always translate. So, yeah.
Sean McVay is pretty damn good.
Well,
coach,
yeah.
so.
And so is BA at the time. I get that. But, you go out, you get Sean Payton, you pay this big time money. You think he's going to turn around Russell Wilson. It's early in the process, but right now it ain't looking good. They're 0-2. They're in a tough division, by the way, with Kansas City and, of course, the Chargers. Who knows what the Raiders, what's going on with them. But they're still somewhat competitive. But you got to start winning games. And I'm not sure if this is going to happen overnight. I'm not sure. This may be a process, and it may also be the fact that Russell Wilson isn't the same Russell Wilson. That father time has caught up with him. So we'll definitely monitor the situation. But if you're a Bronco fan right now, let's ride. You definitely got to be disappointed with the results. Yeah.
Like I said, I was stunned sitting there watching that game the other day. I mean, and you're absolutely right. I think there's something wrong with Russell Wilson. And you may be right. Maybe his time has just passed. I don't know.
Maybe it has. I mean, and a lot of people say, well, Pete Carroll wasn't a big thing there. You got DK Metcalf and Lockett. They had all the weapons. It seems like they have the talent there with the Denver Broncos. But, to get the best you got to depend on the running game. And I'm not sure if they have that aspect there, or that facet, if you will, with the Broncos. Again, we'll see how this is going to work out because it's early in the process. But, early returns, not very good. I don't think this is what Bronco fans were expecting. You got Russell Wilson. You got Sean Payton, who, to me could be considered a quarterback whisperer himself, like BA, right? I mean, every quarterback he's been able to turn around. Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, he's been able to do that. Now the question is, can he do that with Wilson? We shall see. What else, James?
That was it, buddy.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for using your 2 calls tonight on The Evolution. Don't be a stranger. Become a regular. Whether it's a Bucs show, it's a National Football League show. It's for fans like you, even Jets fans. Appreciate the time. Let me go ahead and give you the Ric Flair.
Woo!
All right, good stuff. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Remember, you called me insane for saying that your Bears are going to finish last in the division. Roger Shue says yes, and you still are. And guess what, Roger? You owe me some money.
Here comes the money. Here we go.
And you owe me some steak, too. How about that?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. KR, evening, guys. And go Bucs, baby. Absolutely. Go Bucs.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucs. All right, let's go out to Damn It, Jim. Jim Sutton from Ohio. Welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind tonight after the Bucs are 2-0 getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football? Go.
I'm ready to see that Monday night game, man. It's going to be at home, huh?
You looking forward to that Monday Night Football game?
Yeah, it's going to be in Raymond James.
It's going to be at Raymond James. We may be at Raymond James, representing, of course, the Sports Web and in collaboration with the J.P. Peterson Show. So catch us with that post game on the field. We'll see if we'll be there or not. What's your biggest key to this game versus the Eagles for them to go 3-0 on Monday night?
We're going to have to slow down Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
And we're going to have to put some points on the board because the Eagles like to score.
Right.
Either way.
Right.
And hopefully we can get a flow. We got to get the flow going because they do have a decent defense. I don't know if anybody's going to be hurt on their end, but their defense is pretty hot last year. It definitely was. So.
Well, the defense is pretty good, and you're exactly right. Jaws mentioned that 70 sacks coming in, over 70 sacks. When you get to the postseason, you're exactly right. You got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter there. In the middle, you start from there. You go from the outside. You're exactly right. I think the biggest weakness is that secondary because they have all those injuries at this point. That's where maybe Baker and Mike and Chris Godwin and Cade Otton can take advantage of that matchup against the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right, what else? What do you think about this 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneer team? Are you surprised by this?
Good squad.
You what now?
I don't think I'm not surprised about it.
You're not surprised about it? So, okay.
I thought they were going to do good. I mean, I picked, 13 wins or something?
Wow, you took them 13 wins, so 13-4. Okay. Well, it's looking good right now. You're looking good with that prediction.
So, yeah, I thought Baker Mayfield was going to be okay as a quarterback. So, he's doing what I thought he was going to be so far.
Well, he hasn't turned over the ball, and that's a big thing for this offense. Good stuff, Jim. Anything else here on the Evolution?
Nope. Are you doing wrestling tonight?
Of course I'm doing wrestling tonight. I expect you to call in. We got all kinds of wrestling news on Turnbuckle Talk. Come on, man. I don't let you down on a Wednesday night.
I'll do my second call. Man.
All right, man. Good stuff there. Let me give you the Ric Flair. Woo! Am I doing wrestling talk tonight? Of course I'm doing wrestling talk tonight. We'll try to get off at 11 because you got No Quarter Given on the buckpower.com podcasting network that I got to get done there. But we're definitely talking wrestling tonight. KR says, evening, guys. Go Bucs. Bay. Roger Shue. Hey, KR. Good to see you. KR again. Sorry, Harry. You're eating crow tonight. And yikes on the Bears. They are a mess. They're going to clean house in the offseason. It certainly seems like it if Justin Fields doesn't pick it up. Also, their defensive coordinator resigned today. I don't know if it's been reported it's a health situation. I'll leave it at that. Look at the internet. There's other stories out there. We ain't going to get into that. But it certainly seems like you take the man at his word. It's a health situation. So, there's a lot of things going wrong with the Chicago Bears. And I thought, I believed the expectations, but, not good. Not good times to be a Chicago Bears fan. Hey, Roger, buddy. I'm right. Roger, you didn't read my comment. Grand Slam is really good so far, says KR. I'm right. Owned. Roger Shue says, laugh out loud. KR, you see the Bears are a mess right now. Their defensive coordinator resigned. Franchise quarterback said he is being programmed like a robot. Uh-oh. It's never a good thing. And then he comes back out again and apologized about it. So, because somebody told him that, you can't really say that. You should basically put the blame on your shoulders. Rays are getting whooped. Yep. That is the other thing that was not good tonight as the Rays lose to the Angels 8-3.
This guy sucks.
The disappointing thing about this is Savali didn't pitch well. You trade for him, so he didn't have it tonight. Your offense went into the tank. You lose 8-3. But the worst thing about this is the fact that Baltimore finally lost and you could not beat the Angels. How many times, Rays fans, have we wanted this team to gain ground on the Orioles? They get the opportunity, and what do? Absolutely nothing. All right, good stuff, Mike. By the way, congratulations to your Gators. We're going to be fine in 2028. KR, play our theme music. Go Bucs! How about that? You like that?
Buccaneers, go Bucs! Hey, hey, Tampa Bay.
How about that? You like that, Buccaneer fans? I like that. Yeah. Jaws the GOAT. That's awesome. He's a really good dude. He absolutely is. And you heard him. He's going to come back. He likes the sports web. He likes the evolution of sports talk television. He likes the comments and the interaction here on the Sports Web Live on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, Amped Up Sports, and, of course, Bucs Live. He likes it. I think you guys should like it, too. Getting on the phone lines. Text in. Call in. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. That's the other number. Only number you have to remember. Not the other number. It's gone. It's done. Kaput. No more extra lines. We're going to go with the one line. Evening, guys. Thank you, Christopher Cole, for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Let's go out to You Know I'm Right. Loved your work with the Bucs during preseason games back in the day. Jaws, you're exactly right. I forgot about that. I have to ask him that next time. I hate to admit it. I think Dallas is the best in the league at the moment. Say it ain't so.
This guy sucks.
We'll see. This was before my time. Does everyone remember when the Bucs faced off against the Eagles with Jaws under center? 1979. Got you covered, Mike. Roger says, how long have Leo and Ron known each other? Seems like a long time. Unfortunately, I think the Eagles D-line will have their way with the Bucs. O-line, I don't see this game going very well for the Bucs offense. I mean, that is the question tonight for Bucs fans. Do you feel like Gary, he put it out there, is that your biggest worry with the Philadelphia Eagles? Is that defensive line? Is it the pass rush? What's the biggest key, in your opinion, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to move to 3-0? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Andrew says, good question. Thank you. Bobby Raines, I believe this is Mike Evans' last season in Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, monster game versus the Chicago Bears. 6 catches, 171, 1 touchdown there. I mean, Mr. Consistent. He got yak. He had a 70-yard play. When Mike Evans fans, you haven't even seen that. The guy's playing on another level right now. He's definitely being productive. And like Jaws said, I really feel like the Bucs will get this deal done. Have faith in light. Have faith in this organization. I've always preached that. I've said that. And I think they deserve that with what they've done the last 5 years, with bringing a Super Bowl home, with going for it the last couple of years, with signing their key free agents. Everybody said the sky was falling. Levante David is gone. They re-signed him. Everybody says the sky is falling. Jamel Dean is gone. They re-sign him. Relax. Yes, I just quoted Aaron Rodgers. Yes, that was. But relax. It's going to be all right. You got Mike Evans under contract this year. You're going to see him perform with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to continue to perform. And either the Bucs franchise him, they re-sign him, or he tests free agency and maybe his market value isn't as high as he thinks it is. But again, I have faith in the Bucs. And I believe they deserve the same from you. Have faith in them. All right. Laugh Out Loud, says Andrew. Thank you very much for tuning in. Laugh Out Loud. History. Yes, history. Absolutely.
Flawless victory.
Lots of history with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucs fans, Rondé Barber at halftime. 92 yards to the Super Bowl. You got to love that. Yeah, I like that. Can we discuss Deshaun Watson collapse? Was anybody surprised? No. He has not been a good quarterback. In fact, he's been very disappointing for the Cleveland Browns from this point on. He has been. He has not been good. All those turnovers the other night. I mean, you're paying the guy, what, $240 million? Boy, that was a good contract. Woo. Wow. looking too good right now, especially with the Bucs signing Baker Mayfield to a $4.5 million contract and him being productive. Is it a surprise? He's talented. You know, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks. We've seen him throw for 4,000 yards with little to no weapons. We know that he can be one of the top young quarterbacks in the league. He's just not getting it done. Whether it's the pieces around him, whether it's his play on the field because it suffered with some of the stuff off the field, who knows what it is? There's no disagreeing with the man's talent. He has the talent. That's why it's probably shocking at this point. But can he handle that pressure? Can he handle the pressure of that contract? Can he handle the pressure of proving people wrong, that he's going to be successful, that he's going to be one of the most successful young quarterbacks in this league like he was before the allegations? You missed 2 years. You're not as good as you used to be. The Browns, oh, by the way, are not a great franchise. Just saying. They're not. A great show with Jaws. Thank you very much, Ralph. Appreciate you. Andrew says thank you. Absolutely. That was fantastic, guys. Thanks a lot, Cole. Appreciate you.
Flawless victory.
Love the responses and the interaction on this show. This is what we want. We want your comments. I want to read your comments. I'm going to take your phone calls. And we're going to talk about Tampa Bay Buccaneer football and Tampa Bay Rays as they lose tonight. But what do you think about the new stadium deal that was announced? Are you excited about it? Are you pessimistic? Do you have to see the shovels in the ground? $1.3 billion.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, lots of money right there. And the Rays are paying half for it, $700. Pinellas County, $600. You know, some of those details being released as the Rays are 2.5 out from first place in the AL East behind the Baltimore Orioles. What a guy, Miss Jaws on SportsCenter. It was great on NFL Matchup. That interview was awesome. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jaws is really great. He is. Said, thank you very much. Said, appreciate it.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Bobby says, prayers for Shaq. Absolutely great comment.
Flawless victory.
KR says Shaq is awesome. So happy for him. I mean, I don't know how you can't be. I mean, not only is he overcoming an injury, but he's also overcoming personal loss, which is amazing in itself, and still playing at a top level. That's what this defensive line needed. And keep in mind, this defensive line has done this all without their first-round pick in Kalijah Kancey. Once they get him back, guess what? That line may be that much better. That defensive line rotation may be that much better with Kancey in the fold. Game ball for Shaq, absolutely. Andrew, great show. Go Bucs, go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Yes, he lost one game. He stepped in and got a win week 1. Give the kid a chance. He lost one game. He stepped in, got a win week 1. Give the kid a chance. Who are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, Zach Wilson. Well, Zach Wilson's been given chances, okay? He's been given the last couple of years. Yeah, I get it. He won the game against Buffalo, but the special teams and the defense had more of a big part of that than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson isn't that dude. Sorry, he sucks. Jets fans, you might as well get ready to draft another quarterback.
This guy sucks.
Ryan Turner says that goes for Fields as well. Roger says, I'm so happy for Rodgers. They may need to clean Jets house. We'll see. I still think they're going to, figure this situation out. Rodgers may come back. But again, lots of eggs put in that basket, and highly disappointing. I feel bad for Jets fans because the expectations were there. They were thinking they could possibly be, the next Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the next Rams, with Rodgers coming in as the starting quarterback. And it's not going to happen. You're going to have to wait till next year, and we'll see. You better get a damn offensive line. How important is an offensive line in the National Football League? I mean, we continue to say it. We sit here. We've been talking about football. It seems like 20 years now on this show. It's only been about 5-6 years. How important is an offensive line? We don't talk about the Bucs offensive line. That's a good thing. You know why? Because they're not giving up sacks. Although, to be fair, Baker was under some pressure, and he's able to escape it. He's able to make those throws on the run. He's able to get outside of the pocket, which Brady couldn't do last year. But the great thing is you're not talking about this offensive line. You know why? Because they're doing their job. That's important. It's important for an offensive line to do their job. Be seen and not heard, right? Let's see here. So what if Baker lost these past 2 games, what would the Bucs be thinking? I don't know. You don't have to say that because they won the 2 games. So why are we saying that? Come on, Ryan. Wonderful game. We are going to keep it. I like the sound of the cannon. Okay, we'll fire those cannons. There we go. Steven says, where's Harry the Greek at? He is around. May get him back on here in just a little bit. Wanted to see about his Bears. Zach says, Bucs upset the Eagles 3-0. I like it. George says, good win yesterday. Ryan, he's right. Running a single back isn't going to add up to yards we need against the Eagles. We're going to have to mix it up a bit. KR says, go Bucs. F the Eagles. Let's go! That song sucks. You know what? You suck.
This guy sucks.
KR says, Roger, don't be a hater. Go Bucs. Christopher Cole, Bears needed to run more RPO. MJF defeats Samoa Doe. Well, that's very good. I like that.
Yeah.
Joe, I think you meant. Run and gun, absolutely KR. Peter, do you think the Bucs need to add another running back with Edmonds being out on IR for a few weeks? I think they love what they have at this point. Talking to Scott Reynolds on the JP Peterson show, and the question was for Cam Akers. And, of course, here was his answer on that. I'll tell you what, let's go out to that sound right there. With Scott's talking about, let me see if I can find that or not here. Let's see. You know what? We're going to skip it because I can't necessarily find it right now. But I was talking to Scott Reynolds about it, and he basically said he didn't think the Bucs would be interested in Cam Akers. It just so happens that Cam Akers has been traded to the Minnesota Vikings for, so I think it's like a 6th-round pick in 2026. Like no value at all. So to answer your question, I believe the Bucs are happy with what they have there. And, of course, Rashard White, Sean Tucker, Keyshawn Vaughn, and possibly bringing up another running back from the practice squad. So good question, KR. Appreciate it. Homer, whatever. You know I'm right. Cleveland Browns are a giant collapse altogether. Great comment.
Oh, yeah.
Jericho defeats Guevara. Okay, Guevara, excuse me. Roger is not masculine. A ballet time yet. Roger says Sammy turns on Jericho after the match, walks out with Don Callis. Wow, shocking stuff going on tonight in AEW, which we will talk about in about 7 minutes. I think it's just a toxic environment, toxic ownership group. Deshaun Watson, Baker couldn't play there. Look at what he's doing here. Too much pressure for any young quarterback to save that franchise. Good comment, Zach Mitchell.
Flawless victory.
Talk lightning, please. We will eventually. Stand by. New Ray Stadium looks okay. Mad that they're staying in St. Pete, but happy they're just staying. Exactly. I mean, I think that's the point. As much as Rays fans out there want to be up in arms that they didn't get a new stadium in Tampa, it never came to fruition. I don't know why. I know why. Stu wanted more money. He wanted the redevelopment money. He's getting that from St. Pete. He's getting the best deal for himself. Will it work? I think it can work in St. Pete. I tend to be an optimist. I don't think this is going to be a failure. I think if ownership does everything they've done this year, which is endeared themselves to fans, which is possibly lower ticket prices or put on a consistent product with spending money consistently in their own product, I think fans will come. I do. And I think the new stadium looks awesome. And you know what? I don't have to pay for it because I don't live in Pinellas County. But I'm glad the Rays are staying in the Tampa Bay area. What do you think about the Rays? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Our tax dollars paying for that stadium BS. You know I'm right. Roger Shue, you should use that coming from you should be used to that coming from the dump you are from. Okay. Good night, all. James, Mike Evans, Nickelodeon MVP for week 2. Let's go! Slime time, baby. Good stuff there, James. Great for Shaq Barrett. Absolutely. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Jets are not going anywhere without an OL. Jim, again, damn it, Jim. Thanks a lot for calling in. We need to get to the Eagles there. One more good friend, favorite team. And Jim there. And again, Facebook stars are open right now, YouTube chat. So give to the calls if you like the content. I tell you what, real quick, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, pro wrestling talk, turnbuckle talk, WWE action, AEW. Keep it locked on the evolution of sports talk television. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. All right, welcome back to the Sports Web here live on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, Amped Up Sports, and of course, the Bucs Live open phone line. If you want to talk wrestling action, Bucs, Rays, whatever is on the table, Stadium, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Remember, join me every day, Monday through Friday from 10 to noon. I'm the newest co-host there, producer of the JP Peterson Show. We will be live tomorrow from 5 to 7 from the patio. Come out there. No expensive IPAs, great bar outside, great with football fans all around. We'll start that show about 5 o'clock with the great JP Peterson. Heard all those greats? That's good. David says, I'm shocked how good the offensive line has been playing. I'm not. Tristan Wirfs made that transition. Luke Gedeke, rough, a couple penalties there. That's kind of a worry. Hopefully that doesn't continue. But besides that, really good job by this offensive line, not only protecting Baker Mayfield, but also opening up some holes, which is what you need to do to have this offense balanced. Let's go out to Jim. They're playing good offensive line. Oh, great. I'm muted. Oh, no. Oh, not anymore. Okay, I'm heading to Wawa. See ya in a bit. I'm right. Thanks a lot for tuning in and texting in. I know this is your favorite segment. Let's go out to the guy right here, Mr. Ralph Williams. Ralph, welcome to the evolution of sports talk television for Turnbuckle Talk. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Good. How are you, Peter? How's everything?
Everything is good. You're a little bit hot there, so turn the mic just a tad. That's better. That's better.
Yeah, there you go.
Very, very busy week in WWE. In fact, it started on Friday morning during the Pat McAfee show. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson revealed that there were talks of Rock versus Roman Reigns for WWE WrestleMania 39. The Rock headlining WrestleMania with Roman Reigns, SoFi Stadium. That was locked, says Johnson. We were doing it, but let me just tell you, so about the beginning of 2022, Nick Khan, very good friend. He's the man. He was very instrumental in bringing Vince and I together. We all flew to LA. We met. We sat. This was the beginning of 2022. We broke out the Terramana. We toasted life. We toasted the business we love. About an hour later, we started talking about the potential of what this match could be between myself and Roman Reigns headlining WrestleMania at SoFi. We shook hands. We hugged right there, all three of us at the table, and said, let's do this. So then we had a year to really think about this. So the North Star thought was, okay, let's not do something good. Let's do something great. Let's do something unprecedented. It was in what we could create for the fans that has never been done before, a match great. Roman, incredible athlete. He's going to be on Mount Rushmore. Super handsome, good dude. My cousin, family, amazing. We can have the match. But the bigger thought was, what can you do for the fans in the business that love where WrestleMania isn't ending or isn't the end of something? It's actually the beginning of something bigger. He goes on to say, so we really, really got close, but we couldn't actually nail what the thing was. We decided to put our pencils down. We agreed, hey, listen, there's a merger coming up. Eventually that will happen. There's WrestleMania in Philadelphia. Eyebrow raise. I'm saying that's a potential too. I'm open to it. I'm open. But again, let's figure out what that is, because the fans deserve something that's just incredible and unprecedented. Not only that, but I also want to deliver to the locker room and the boys and the girls back there who are working their asses off. What can we do to put them in a position where they're part of something that is new, change, an era in this world of pro wrestling? Again, Vince is a big picture thinker, as you know. This is why we've gotten along for years, just trying to think big picture. So we'll see. Your thoughts on all those comments, because it certainly seems like we're headed to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and it's going to be Roman Reigns versus not Cody Rhodes, but The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, that's the case. And you know something, Peter? No one thought of this, and that is that The Rock, John Cena, and now I'm hearing Batista's coming back. You know, they're unemployed right now. There's no movies being made because of the strike. And they have to do something. And The Rock is $60 million in the hole from XFL. And I'm hearing stories now that there's going to be a merger between the XFL and the USFL. And if that happens, you know, to clear out that $60 million debt that The Rock has. So that's why those three guys are part of the WWE again. And Cody Rhodes is going to be the odd man out, I'm told. I heard a rumor today that, you know, they have no plans for him to win the world title. So, you know, here we are. These guys are coming back, and Cody Rhodes is getting eased out, and I think that's wrong.
Well, and again, a lot of people, they felt like, you know, that was a possibility with him coming from AEW. All the comments he made about Triple H that, you know, eventually with Vince in control, and now Vince is in control again. Right. You look at the big picture when it comes to The Rock and Roman. A lot of people want to see that match. A lot of people want to see the story being finished with Cody winning the title. So we shall see how that all works out. Now, the night of that, that show appearance on Pat McAfee, of course, McAfee being one of the hosts on SmackDown, he came out and confronted Austin Theory, talked about this is the People Show, and lo and behold, there is The Rock cutting a promo with Austin Theory, which, by the way, has done absolutely nothing ever since he beat Cena at WrestleMania. So this is a big push for this kid. Of course, The Rock comes out. You see The Rock and John Cena. I mean, what year are we in on SmackDown? They hug. So a lot of exciting things going on in wrestling, especially for WWE. And, of course, that merger with Endeavor now and UFC. So your thoughts on that?
Well, it's going to be called TKO. That's going to be the name of the merging company, you know. So, but I think that my opinion on this is it's a good merger. Let's see what Endeavor does with this. I hate to see Vince McMahon be out of this. As long as he's been in wrestling, he's the godfather. He's the man, and you know it's hard to see him be out of the picture. Now he's getting under another federal indictment, I'm hearing. So, you know, this is really getting out of control with Vince McMahon. They're doing everything they can to run him out. Now he's under another federal indictment for something. So here we are, Vince McMahon, once again, in trouble with the law. I don't know what it's about, but I was told
I think it comes down to he should not be in charge again. The reason why he did this is because he wanted to be in charge. Now he's in charge. Get him out of there. The business is better off without him. I'm sorry. I understand what The Rock is saying about Vince. But to me, the best situation is Triple H in charge with Nick Khan. Now, supposedly, WWE reportedly is not high on signing CM Punk as it was with Cody. According to HouseOfWrestling.com's Nick Hausman, there was far more internal buzz when Cody Rhodes became a free agent last year than there has been for Punk thus far. Of course, Rhodes became the huge name to defect from AEW to WWE, of course, to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38. Hausman noted that nobody he spoke with in the company signing Punk, especially unless it's good business. Now, CM Punk's departure is, of course, you know, all about Tony Khan and, of course, Jack Perry. We talked about that. Of course, Nick Khan made some comments. He didn't dispute it. He didn't say no. He didn't say yes. So he left the door open. Do you think eventually this is going to happen with CM Punk? And even Punk teased a return, was saying in so many words, he dropped an eye-opening tease about his future with the commentary of Cage Fury Fighting Championships on CFFC 125. During the show, he noted he has time on his hands for the next 2 months. That comment led fans to speculate about Punk's future. For now, fans will just have to stay tuned. So, and of course, I believe the event after that would be in Chicago. So we're putting 2 to 2 together and thinking that CM Punk, Chicago man himself, is going to appear in WWE. And who would you put him against? Would you put him against Seth Rollins? Would you put him against Cody Rhodes? I mean, what kind of matches could you create with Punk?
Yeah, I would put him against Cody Rhodes, and I probably would put him against a few other guys. My question, like you said, creative. What are they going to do with him? And now you got these 3 heavy hitters coming back, John Cena, The Rock, and Batista. And so now you have that going on. CM Punk cannot sign with the WWE for a couple of months. He's still under contract with AEW. So he has to wait it out. Good for him. He can get on Twitter, run his mouth, do whatever he needs to do. I think it's going to be a big moneymaker. WWE is going to be stronger now than ever with all these guys. And now they got Jade Cargill coming in on the women's side. Oh, my gosh. And then
I'm still in my thunder here because I'm going to definitely mention that about Jade. But let's go back to CM Punk.
Oh, by the way, Sasha Banks was supposed to show up tonight on AEW. I didn't see her. She didn't show up. And they said Edge was supposed to show up as well tonight. That didn't happen. I do know they both have contracts, supposedly. So
we'll see. CM Punk's departure from All Elite Wrestling won't be followed by a lawsuit. Of course, AEW terminated CM Punk's contract on September 2nd.
Right.
Of course, he was again involved with a backstage confrontation with Jack Perry at AEW All In. Nick Hausman of House of Wrestling reports that in asking around about CM Punk's termination, he learned that he does not have any litigation pending against Tony Khan. Khan publicly said he felt like his life was in danger during the incident at AEW All In. However, Punk is seemingly looking to avoid legal action and move on. Per Hausman, Punk was described as breathing a sigh of relief now that he's out of AEW since he returned to the company in June. He was seemingly surrounded by constant drama. The report also noted that it's unclear whether AEW or Khan have any pending legal action towards Punk. So what do you make of this? Do you think there's any litigation here? Do you think there's any hard feelings? Or do they let bygones be bygones and turn the page?
I would turn the page on this, Peter, because the reason I say this is because if they don't turn the page real soon, there's going to be nothing. I mean, WWE needs CM Punk right now. They need to get their act back together here. They need to start getting creative stuff going. Put pissing wrestlers off to where they have to leave. You know, you got some guys like Drew McIntyre. You have now you have Cody Rhodes, who's going to be the odd man out here, from what I'm told. And, so what are they going to do? They have to do something. And if you're going to have all this talent too, Peter, you have to have enough matches and enough creativity to bring these guys in here to have these guys in matches. Who's Batista going to fight? Who's John Cena going to wrestle? The Rock's going to wrestle Roman. We know that. But if The Rock's going to be in here now, who's he going to wrestle now
I think that's a good problem to have because Ralph, you have all this young talent. So again, this veteran talent is a vehicle for that young talent to put them over. Hopefully that's what they're doing. And I definitely think LA Knight will be involved. Seth Rollins will be involved in that. So there's some dream matches that can happen. Let's see how it all plays out. But of course, you stole my thunder here, and I'm going to get to this comment in a moment. Let's go out to that. Jim says, is Randy Orton still wrestling now? He was today spotted at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, so it certainly looks like he could be coming back from injury. Now, the other big news of the week here, and this happened late on Friday, where it looked like Jade Cargill was leaving AEW. She wrestled her final match versus Chris Statlander, had an emotional goodbye, and now she is in WWE. In fact, WWE reportedly has a long-term interest for her creative as a high priority, according to Fightful Select's Felix Upton of Ringside News. Some people in WWE heard of the company's interest in Cargill as early as July, and it now looks like she's trending toward joining WWE after 3 years with AEW. Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, reports that this week Cargill's AEW contract was believed to have expired. Plans were in place for her to report to WWE's Performance Center in Orlando, Florida.
Right.
And Dave Metzler also reported WWE has already been making creative plans for Cargill and view her likely arrival as a big thing, which it should be, because, by the way, guys, if you watch AEW, she went 60-0. She has the look. She's great on the mic. She needs some work in the ring. But I feel like this is a win-win for Triple H and whoever else is running WWE. What do you say?
Absolutely. Anybody, anytime you can bring in somebody who is a better wrestler or someone who can bring up your women's division, absolutely. I don't have any problems with that at all because the WWE needs to do something here. I think the women's division's kind of lost in the shuffle here. Bianca Belair's not coming back for a little bit. She's injured, but not only that, I read an article this week. She's doing other projects. I don't know what it is, but she's doing some other kind of projects. So, she's out of the picture for a little while. You have Charlotte Flair. You have Asuka. You have all these folks that are wrestling, everybody.
Rhea Ripley. I mean, you can think of some great dream matches here. You got
Asuka versus
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill, right. Yeah.
I would rather see that match than see Nia Jax come out and hurt another wrestler like, Rhea Ripley. Yeah, Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. You got Bianca Belair. You got Charlotte Flair. Right. I mean, the division gets stronger. And again, she definitely needs, some work in the ring, but she's got everything. I love her. I love her look. I love what she does. I think it's amazing. I think she's going to be a star, a superstar.
I'm glad Nia Jax come out and beat up on Rhea Ripley. I can't stand Rhea Ripley to begin with. So, you know what? I'm glad that happened to her. Good.
I'm not the biggest Nia Jax fan here. We're on Turnbuckle
Talk. She's joining the bloodline, I was told.
Please no. Here at Turnbuckle Talk, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Rob Williams. Thank you. Absolutely. Good to have you back. Now, WWE reportedly far apart on money with LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Edge. According to Dave Meltzer, WWE is not close on money with LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Edge. Currently, Knight is in the early stages of what seems to be a major push as he won the Battle Royal at SummerSlam and later defeated The Miz in the singles match at Payback. He is also beginning consistent television and promo time on SmackDown and often gets the biggest crowd reaction of the night. PW Outsider reportedly recently that Knight and WWE were closing in on a new deal of up to 5 years in length, which is amazing to think. That he was in Impact Wrestling and NWA and couldn't get over in WWE, and they let him go and brought him back, and he has become the megastar, my friend. He's become amazing. So good for him, hopefully. But apparently that has not been made official yet. There's also been rumors and speculation floating out there about McIntyre's contract status. Reported last week that WWE added some time to McIntyre's contract while he was out injured, meaning it's set to expire in April of 2024. McIntyre was originally under contract with WWE from 2007 to 2014 before getting released to return to the company, of course, in 2017. He has been one of the top stars ever since, and he also won the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match, went on to become a two-time champion, and hasn't held a title in quite some time. So he remains a key player. And then Edge is a WWE Hall of Famer. It's made clear he's nearing the end of his career at 49 years old, but there is a rumor out there that he could join up and go on another long run with Tony Khan's AEW and Christian. Your thoughts?
Well, I think Edge is going to do that. That'll be great. I'd like to see them two back together. I don't like Christian Cage with Luchasaurus. It don't look right. Him and Christian Cage and Edge looks right. I think that would be an excellent signing to AEW. AEW needs to get some kind of star power because they don't have any right now. I don't think. I mean,
MJF.
I know, but
Adam Cole, pretty good stars there.
Yeah, somebody who can really do something. You know what I mean? I mean, MJF. I like this current situation with him, and I actually thought he was going to screw over Adam Cole, but it didn't work that way. Tony Khan is a miracle man. He got MJF teaming up with Adam Cole. Them two hated each other for the longest time. And then they ended up winning the ROH tag team belts together. And now, and MJF beat Samoa Joe tonight. So, here we are.
He's on a roll, and he's definitely one of the best heels in the business. And I think eventually he'll become a babyface because everybody loves him. They love him. They love what he does and how he presents himself.
Did you see I know you were doing your show.
Yeah.
When you take a look at Dynamite later on tonight, if you taped it or whatever, you can watch it.
I saw him cut that promo last week.
What's that with the boys? Handed him the scarf. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
Steiner math was unbelievable. What a historian of wrestling Mr. MJF is. Maxwell Jacob Freeman. According to PW Touch's Wade Keller, They reported last month that Edge was presented to WWE what he would take to retain his services, but WWE declined to meet his request, leading to an eternal belief that Edge would sign with AEW. Now, of course, the Rated R Superstars refuted this report. There's nothing going on. There's no hard feelings between me and WWE. I love WWE. It's my dream gig. It's all I ever wanted to do. I didn't come at them with some crazy contract or anything. They didn't deny me. I have a contract extension sitting in my inbox. I just don't know what to do. Of course, wrestled possibly his last match in Toronto versus Sheamus. Now, you kind of stole my thunder again, but you talked about Vince McMahon. According to Jacob Frankel, the chair of the Dickinson Rights Government Investigation Securities Enforcement Practice Group and former senior counsel in the SEC's Division of Enforcement, told the LA Times that Vince McMahon could face criminal or civil liabilities that may force him out of his WWE role. He says, depending on the potential findings following the inquiry into Vince McMahon, McMahon could face criminal and or civil liabilities that could prevent him from serving as an officer or director of a public company. A former WWE board member, Ignacy Lahold, resigned when Vince forcibly returned to the company in January. He was quoted by saying, "It wasn't aligned with the way of seeing what governance is, and there was a misalignment with what my values are." He also goes on to say, do whatever you guys need to do. I'm not going to stand in your way. Of course, when the board said, well, we think you need to step down, he wasn't happy about it, but he did it. A mess right now, once again, in WWE with Vince McMahon, and I think it's going to end badly. He's not going to be in charge anymore. I think it's good for the fans. I think it's good for the business. Once again, I do appreciate what McMahon did, but the wrestling business has passed him by. It's time to pass the torch to Nick Khan and, of course, Triple H. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. That's if Triple H is still around. He was kicked off the board by Endeavor. So I'm not sure whether he has security. They cleaned out the office, Peter. I don't even think, he may not even have a job. I mean, Endeavor, when you have a merger, Peter, and I think you probably noticed already in any business, they clean house. I mean, literally, it's their way, or, they're going to do it a different way, and everything happens like that. I'll give you an example. Heinz Kraft. Heinz merged with Kraft, and now everything's run out of Kraft's office in Chicago. We still have, I think Pittsburgh here still has maybe a little bit of people still here. And, but all the divisions of Heinz all went to Kraft, and now they're running out of Chicago or wherever they run. I think it's in Chicago is where they're running Kraft's corporate headquarters or whatever.
All right. So lastly here, we'll finish off with this. On Turnbuckle Talk, Chris Jericho addressed the AEW's negative press during a recent appearance on Busted Open. The former AEW World Champion Chris Jericho was asked about the fans and media focus on AEW's backstage drama. This is what he had to say. Pay attention. People like to focus on negative. I remember when I got in a fight with Goldberg in Milwaukee, it was out on whatever version of the internet was. Then 10 minutes later, Jim, hold on a minute. Let me read this and then we'll go out to you. Then 10 minutes later, people would text me and was like, who the F is saying this? So it's not like this is the first time there's been incidents backstage. It happens. I just think now with social media, people wanting to jump on negative. We know the issues, and the issues have been rectified. But the point is, there's so much positive things going on. Those things are always kind of a little bit downplayed, but it's the negative that gets focused on. I know what's going on in the locker room. We know what areas we need to work on. Negative press is negative press. Once again, you still got, out of those 81,000 people, how many people know what even happened or really care? The hardcore and the journalists, the guys who do this care, and we should. But there's also fans. How about being number one on cable 4 weeks in a row? The number one show out of all the shows is AEW. So to me, that's a huge positive that also gets kind of lost in the shuffle because somebody's in a bad mood one day or whatever it might be. It happens. It's wrestling. We all are gypsies, tramps, and thieves. And there's going to be issues from time to time. Now, co-host Bully Ray then bluntly asked Jericho if AEW as a company is better now than it was a month ago, And Jericho claimed it is. Yes, absolutely. Shot at CM Punk by Jericho.
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. Jericho, I don't know what his status is going to be with AEW. I know he won tonight, but he hasn't seen, he got rid of the Jericho Appreciation Society, was supposed to hook up with Don Callis. I don't think they have anything for him to really do. And
I disagree. I think the match that's coming up is going to be between him and his former friend. And
it'll be another match with Sammy.
Right. And that match is going to be amazing because he's going to try to put Sammy over. It's not Jericho's time anymore to be the guy. He's already, his time is already passed. He can make some runs, but again, the vehicle is to put younger talent over, and I think that's what they're going to do with Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to add, Devon Dudley, who had a stroke in 2020, he had a real bad one too, and couldn't wrestle for a while. He was working with the WWE doing security and working in the Performance Center. He left the WWE the end of last year, and now he's back with Impact Wrestling. He came back for the 1000th episode.
Yes.
A whole bunch of alumni came back for that.
Sure.
But I was told, I read something today that he's coming back and he signed a contract with Impact. He's going to team up with Bully Ray, and they're going to be back together as a tag team.
Wow. Well, there you go. I think they're a little bit past their prime, but it is what it is. We'll see how.
Hey, Impact's got a bunch of those guys. They got PCO. He's past his prime. They got Bully Ray. They got Devon Dudley. They have a few guys there that are past their prime.
Yep, absolutely.
Tommy Dreamer.
Yep. Santino Marella is in charge.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, that's it.
And they had the beautiful people come out. Pretty good talent. Pretty good show.
Velvet Sky's coming back full time. Peter, she left NWA. She's done.
All right, let's take a question here from Jim using a second call on Turnbuckle Talk. What do you have to say, my friend?
Hello, Jim.
Hey, did you guys hear anything about UFC and the WWE teaming up?
Yes, they are merging. They merged together. It's called TKO now. So yes, they did merge a couple of weeks ago. We did definitely hear about that, and we'll see what the future brings. A lot of exciting opportunities between both of those entities. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna have UFC fighting wrestling
coexist. I think they can figure it out, Jim. I definitely think they can get creative and figure this out. There's a lot of smart people
having a pay-per-view where they're a joint pay-per-view where they're going to do wrestling and UFC or whatever.
That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that story already.
All right, Jim. Anything else?
That's what I wanted to ask. No, I'm good.
All right, man. Appreciate the call. Let me give you the Macho Man right here. Ralph, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend.
Yeah, you can reach me at ralphwilliams737@gmail.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter X platforms. I also have my own YouTube channel. Starting this Monday night, it will no longer be the way I see it. It's going to be the way we see it because I have a co-host named Bill Canada. He's going to be coming on with me, and it's going to be the way we see it. I also Tuesdays, 5 to 6 p.m., Beaver County Radio, FM 99.3, AM 1230. And live on the Facebook page, their YouTube channel, website, app, and also on www.rwmedia.org. You can reach me as well. That's my website.
Good stuff, Ralph. We'll see you next week here on Turnbuckle Talk, my friend.
All right? Thank you. I'll be here if I don't have a headache or something again or not being sick. So,
Well, there you go. It's all about priorities, my friend. Great stuff, Bodyguard. Thank you very much for that. With that being said, we got to wrap it up tonight, but definitely tune in, as always, on Monday and Wednesday nights. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook. Give to Facebook stars. Give to YouTube chats if you like the content. And, of course, tune in every day, Monday through Friday, from 10 to noon. Of course, tomorrow it's going to be 5 to 7 on the JP Peterson Show as I co-host it, produce it, try not to screw it up. And, of course, the Sports Web here in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show after every post game when it comes down to the Bucs, especially the home games, as we will be live on the field if credentialed. 3 things to end the night. Once again, thanks to Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, Ron Jaworski, pre and post for the Philadelphia Eagles, former ESPN broadcaster, and of course, former Philadelphia Eagle quarterback, and of course, Ralph Williams, the bodyguard of the Berg. 3 things. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the sports web and, of course, the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. Have a great night. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Bumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com.